So this is an interesting little game. This is called Michelin Rally Masters Race of Champions. This came out in 2000, and I took my sweet time with this one. So I'll just say right away that I think this is arguably the best rally game you can get on the PlayStation 1. But you've probably never heard of it, and there's some reasons for this. So let's start off with the first one, Colin McRae Rally 2. So which of these two games came out first? They both came out at similar times, but it depends on your region. If you lived in the North American region, Rally Masters actually came first by like 2 months. But if you lived in Europe, Rally Masters came out pretty much a whole year after Colin McRae Rally 2 came out. But you know what was also out when Rally Masters came out? The PlayStation 2. Smuggler's Run came out one day after Rally Masters did. This was developed by Digital Illusions, which when I looked into them, they actually made a handful of some of my favorite games ever. Rally Sport Challenge 1 and 2, Midtown Madness 3, Battlefield 1942, and Battlefield Vietnam. Yep, Digital Illusions, you might know them better as EA DICE, the guys who make all of the Battlefield games. They made this rally game. If you want to unlock anything in this game, it's going to take a long time. There are 6 cars to unlock, and it's going to take you like 7 hours to unlock the first one. If you want to get a gold trophy in all of the championships, it's going to take you over 20 hours to do it. First of all, when you see the menu right at the start, Race of Champions at the top, don't ever do this. It's completely pointless. I'm not sure why it's up there at the top, but if you want to know what it is, it puts you on the last special stage in the game, and you do the runs through it like the normal championship. But I believe it's on like really hard difficulty because the opponents in there are something else. They are really, really hard to defeat. If you want to win it, you have to be pretty much flawless for like 5 races in a row. I spent quite a while actually beating it, and then when I finished it in first, I didn't unlock anything. I didn't win anything, no unlock codes, nothing. I don't know why it's up there. You don't bother with that. The real game is all listed under single player, and championship mode is where it all goes down. So once you've finally figured out that the real game is hidden behind a couple of menu options, you now have 3 championships to choose from. Rally Masters Championship, Rally Masters Challenge Cup, Rally Masters Trophy. So you might think, okay, I'm going to do the first one listed because it sounds the most important. I don't know why they do this to themselves, but you do not want to play that mode. Not at first. Rally Masters Championship makes you do the special stages only. You can't pick your car, but what it will do is it'll start you out with a slow car, and then when you win that race, it'll make you do the race again in a faster car, and then when you win that, you go up to a faster car, on and on and on until you get first place in that championship. You have to do this on 6 stages, and each time you'll be doing a couple laps around the same track like 9 times in a row. So if it's you probably want to save this one for last. It's really a little too repetitive for my taste. Plus, you especially don't want to do this first if you're not used to the controls, because the tracks here are a lot trickier to navigate. On top of that, the walls are also much more narrow on the special stages, which the walls in this game are magnets. If you bump into the wall, you'll stick to it. Sometimes it'll stick you to it so hard that you'll end up just directly facing the wall. Usually if you get stuck on the wall, the only way to get off of it is to brake and then turn away from the wall, get back on the track, and keep going. The next one listed is the Rally Masters Challenge Cup. Alright, this must be the real one, right? No, this is not either. So what Rally Masters Challenge Cup does is it's a lot closer to what you would see in something like V-Rally. You're doing circuits. Not very long ones. I think it's only 3 laps. You still don't get to pick your car, but you basically do 3 laps around the longer circuit, then you do 3 laps around the longer circuit in reverse, and then you do 2 runs of the special stage. So once again, if you've already done the special stage championship, you're going to see this, and you're going to be like, oh my god, not again. Rally Masters Trophy, the one on the bottom, is actually the first one you should be doing, because this is the actual rally stages. You actually do get to pick your car. But you better like it, because once you pick a car, you have to do every single rally stage in that car. You can't switch cars. 5 of the environments have 5 rally stages each, and they make you do 6 of them. So you gotta repeat some. It'll change up like the time of day, or it'll make you do it in reverse. Though there was something I noticed when I got to the Legends category for this. Instead of making me do 6 races, it made me do 10, which means I had to do every stage twice. And I was already complaining this game is too repetitive, but that was a little overkill, I was thinking. I didn't get to the Legends category in the other 2 championships, so I'm thinking, does that mean that I have even more stages to do, more laps to do on those? Finding out that I had to do 10 stages here upped my predicted completion estimate up to like 30 hours or more now, which for what this game has to offer is probably too much. And you'll notice when you go into the championship, you have 3 choices. Only one of them will be unlocked when you start out, but you have Formula 2, WRC, and Legends, and of course each one is a little step up from the next one in terms of, horsepower in the cars. And in order to unlock each one, you have to come in first in the championship on whatever you have unlocked. And that takes a while, because it's like each championship is like 2.5 hours, something like that. So if you want to unlock the WRC, you have to do the 2.5 hours of rally. Then you have to do another one to unlock Legends. It takes a lot of time. This is very, very repetitive how it makes you do this. You're not going to want to keep coming back and doing these over and over again, because it does get kind of mind-numbing after a while. But I should talk about how the game actually plays. So first of all, if you go into options, you can pick your difficulty. There are 5 of them. The units are listed as English and metric, which is somewhat confusing, but you get the idea. So the actual physics of the game, this is what I like the most about it. There are some issues, but it's really good. The cars have a heavier feel to them. But with that comes some problems when it comes to turning and braking. For some reason in the game, the braking is insane. If you ever want to slow down, you have to barely tap the brake, because if you brake just a little bit too hard, the car is just going to come to a complete stop. And power sliding is really hard to do right. But if you can do it, it's really satisfying. There is damage in this game, although most of it you'll notice is cosmetic. Maybe it's because I was playing on an easier difficulty, but I was slamming into walls like crazy, and I was barely damaging anything. Also, I noticed the damage doesn't really affect how I'm driving too much. The co-driver calls are not really great. The little turn signs that pop up are really vague. Some of these tracks get really, really dark. That's kind of a problem. Your headlights do not light up the tracks very well. So you kind of have to really rely on these calls, but they're just not accurate enough to make up for having to deal with PlayStation 1 graphics. Everything looks kind of weird, and it's hard to tell what is coming up in front of you sometimes. As for the graphics, I think it looks alright. The graphics are fine. Maybe the tracks look a little dull, but there's a good variety. The different times of the day look really nice. But yeah, for a PlayStation 1 game, this plays really well. And yeah, despite me basically complaining about this game for 10 minutes, I still do think it's one of the best rally games you can get on the PlayStation 1. I'd have to play Colin McRae Rally 2 for myself to see how it stacks up. But from what I know, I wouldn't be surprised if this is in the top 3 for this console. So it's worth checking out.